In this video, I'm going to ask, is it time to say goodbye to the Mirrored City? Hello AOS fans, Robin here, and today I've got a short video for you just to ask the question, is it time to say goodbye to the Mirrored City? Which you probably knew because you watched the intro. Yes, Season 5 is maybe on its way. It seems odd that we're already looking at Season 5 when I'm actually crushed under the weight of the Season 4 releases. But life being what it is, people are always looking forward to what's coming next. We have AOS 3 on the doorstep, and maybe that gives us a few clues as to what might happen in Season 5 of Warhammer Underworld. No idea what the name's going to be called. I assume it's going to be something, but we don't know what it's going to be. We weren't that happy with Direchasm, but it soon settles in, doesn't it? You soon learn what the name, you soon get used to it, and Direchasm doesn't seem as bad as it did this sort of 12 months ago when they announced it. But what would it actually mean for the game? Now, I have a theory, which you can probably guess what it was from the title of this video. We know that the lizard men were sent to seal the beast grave. We know from the AOS lore that Kragnos has escaped, and he's kind of like a new, entering a new kind of realm of beasts and such like. In Gur, sort of a new age of beasts. So we've got new Aurochs coming, the cruel boys. There's new Hobgrots. There's lots of new kind of death and destruction, rather not death, lots of destruction things coming. I'm not that hot on the lore, so do excuse me if I make terrible kind of lore faux pas. I'm not really up with it at all. Kind of read what they've announced on Warhammer Community, but I haven't really gone any deeper than that. But I feel with the awakening of Kragnos and this sort of alleged sealing of the beast grave, I do think that the next set, I had always thought the next set would be set away from Gur and in another realm. So we've got 2 in the Mirror City, 2 in Gur, 2 in the beast grave, 2 somewhere. I think it is going to go somewhere else, but I think because of AS3 setting, I think it's going to stay in Gur. I could be completely wrong, but I think it will. But I think that beast grave is going to be sealed in some way, and I think Games Workshop are going to use that to chop through the Mirrored City and get rid of it. Basically seal it up, stop things coming in from the Mirrored City into the beast grave because it's sealed, and then therefore into the Direchasm. And that will enable them to cycle out completely the Season 1 and 2 warbands. So no more Shadespire warbands, no more Nightvault warbands, which I think is a shame. But I think also it's needed. So it's a shame on one everyone that we've all got our favourite Shadespire warband, we've all got our favourite Nightvault warbands. But I think it's time for them to go. There's some slight balance issues with the warbands. I mean, Moloch hasn't won loads of tournaments, but he has won. He has won Grand Clashes, and he does tend to skew the meta with his action economy. Moloch has really skewed things like Ferocious Resistance. I mean, it's a good card anyway, but people like Moloch have really skewed that. I know there are still some heavy wound fighters out there, so Ferocious Resistance we'll still need dealing with, but Moloch really takes a biscuit on that. He is one of these. He's one of those kind of polarizing fighters we've talked about before, where he does one thing so well that if there's any skew of the meta to that way, he becomes overtly powerful. Curse Breakers are the same. I don't know whether, I mean, Magic has massively toned down since the Nightvault days. I don't know whether that's in response to the fact that Nightvault have got the Curse Breakers have got 3 wizards, which makes them very, very good for it. But they will go too. They've had some issues. They've had to errata Varklav for the Briar Queen warband, so they will go. So that gets rid of that issue. Okay, the cards are all gone anyway, so there's not that many cards that have been restricted. But from those days, there were lots of restricted cards, far more restricted cards than there are these days. Although of course we are due a fast, and maybe they would restrict Direchasm cards. But all that suggests that they are happier with their design. The fact that I feel like there are less cards that need restricting, and the design in the old days wasn't so good, and you can't lie, a lot of warbands have completely fallen away. Sepulchral Guard got a little bit of a boost, but many of the other warbands, people play them for fun, but they don't really expect to do particularly well with them. I know there are a few players who are just excellent with all warbands, and therefore they do perform well. But mostly, if you play a Season 1 or a Season 2 warband, with a couple of exceptions, then you get trounced. Which isn't a bad thing in itself, and I've said before that kind of self-limits in the sense that people will stop playing them because they're not so good. But if you're new to the game, I think it's a bit frustrating to A, turn up and there's these something you're playing a warband you've never seen before, you can't buy it in the shops, but B, if you want to buy it, you just can't. So, oh, that was really cool. I enjoy playing that, but where can I get those? Oh, you can't get those. And I think if you're new to the game and obviously Games Workshop are obviously trying to draw people in all the time, I think that will be a bit frustrating, and it makes the game seem less current. And I think these living card games, as it were, are all about the latest thing, or the modern version of the game. So I feel like for the health of the game and just for the health of marketing the game and what have you, I think we're going to see those warbands rotate out. There is one thing that would suggest that maybe I'm completely wrong, and that is that the new Essentials pack has artwork from those warbands on it. So they are new, they are going forward forever, they are presumably not planning on changing the artwork style anytime soon, and they do have old warbands on it. So maybe I'm talking poppycock. I just feel the time has come for competitive play to rotate out those 2 seasons worth of warbands. I think it's a good time to do it. There's a new edition of Age of Sigmar coming, with new lore and new armies even, and I just feel that the old ones, they're a bit tired anyway. They could do with an update, so I think maybe they will rotate out and then we'll get perhaps new versions of them, which kind of brings me on to maybe the next thing that we might want to talk about is what warbands will we see. Well, I'm really bad at predicting this sort of thing, but I think we'll almost certainly see when AOS 2nd edition came out. I think it was coincided with the Nightvault release, or the Nightvault release was shortly afterwards, and we saw direct copies or reflections of AOS 2 in Nightvault. So we had a Cursebreaker, the Cursebreaker warband, and I can't remember what their particular type of Stormcast, which were in, I think, in the set, and then we had the Nighthawks, and obviously they were in AOS 2 as well. So I think we'll see a core set of new Stormcast with the new kind of slightly more dynamic, less Space Marine pose, which I think is great. I really like those models, best Stormcast models I think yet. And I think we'll see some sort of Crawl Boys Orc warband in the base set. I'm reasonably confident that's going to happen. I'll probably be completely wrong now. Following on from that, I think we'll see, and I don't think we'll see two Stormcast warbands. I hope not, anyway, because they are a little bit vanilla. But I think we might see, if we see some sort of Cruel Boys, I think we will see some Hogrots warband later. In some of the lore stuff that they've announced, there's definite hinting towards Chaos Dwarves. They quite often use Underworlds as a way of bringing in things from the fringes of their lore into the game. So I think we might see some Chaos Dwarves. I think there's a fairly good chance we'll see some Shadow Elves, maybe. They've been mooted. I don't think we'll see the Silent People. I think the Silent People are better silent, I think. I could be entirely wrong, but I just feel like actually they're better as a kind of mysterious force. We don't really know what they are, and we never do find out, which I think is quite nice. I almost certainly think if they rotate out, but I almost certainly think we're going to see Skaven this time. We're all about the beast this time. I know they're chaotic, but they are definitely chaotic beasts, so I definitely think we will see a new Skaven army. If they do rotate out, I think there's a fairly good chance we might see a new Khorne warband. Some sort of play on the Reavers would be great. I don't particularly like Magors. I wouldn't want to see those, but something fast moving and death dealing would be really interesting. And my own personal favourite would be to see a new Cities of Sigmar warband. Whether it would be like an elf and a dwarf or whatever, I don't know, but I feel like, maybe this is a way of sneaking in a Stormcast, because they've got these new kind of processions of almost like movable cities that are in the lore now, as they go out and try and conquer or try and colonise bits of Gur. I feel like there may be that we will see something like that. So maybe like almost like a Soulbound from the Soulbound role-playing game, where you can have a Stormcast there, but you can have other factions all working together for kind of the same reason, but maybe with different things. Be interesting to have that. Not actually a role-playing element, obviously, but it'd be interesting to have that kind of mix of forces. But I think we'll see some new forces, slightly less, not proper old world Cities of Sigmar, but some of the new forces banded together for some sort of Crusade type warband, which I think would be lovely, really cool. And maybe there's a few mystery things up their sleeves. Will we see anything as cool as the crab? Who knows? But most of I think pretty much all of the factions are represented now, so they can, if they do, get rid of. I'd love to see some new Gits. I mean, I would be really sad to see the Gits. Cinch, they could definitely do with an upgrade, perhaps do them a bit of justice this time rather than the Iron Arm, which I think people do really enjoy but are a bit naff. Maybe a slightly more mobile, even more disgustingly pestilent Nurgle Warband would be really interesting. But we'll just have to wait and see, I think. I mean, I love speculating. Do let us know in the comments what you'd like to see. I know all you guys like to speculate too. You've probably got a much better handle on the lore than I have to know what might be coming. And I'm really interested to see where Warhammer Underworlds goes. And I can't wait to really get my teeth into Direchasm proper now it's all out and play a few months worth of games with that without worrying about new releases, without having to worry about things to paint. But I am looking with just one eye, maybe two eyes, to see what's coming on the horizon, because this game is, I think, is at its best each season. It seems to get better and better. Obviously, as we open up, most of the world opening up, we can start playing games in person again, which will make the game even better. So let me know what your thoughts are for season 5. Do you think I'm talking rubbish? Do you think they would never get rid of season 1 and 2 warbands, because what's the point? Let me know in the comments, and we'll see you soon on the Age of Sigmar. Bye.